Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you're new here, my name's Scott Carter, and I'm a licensed therapist, and I help people a lot with the high conflict systems. It's a very different scenario, by the way, when people are in relationships with a high conflict type, like a borderline or narcissistic type. It's just the clinginess and the codependency. It's just amazing. They will not let go. They just cling to this toxic relationship and this toxic person. But once the whole thing crumbles, it's an entirely different scenario. And so people often come to me because they're dealing with the situation, and it is such a complex equation, and it's such a difficult and complex dynamic. um, I created this to help kind of break down the different components of it and how they are interconnected, but also how, when one gets out of balance, so do the other ones. And the apologetic parent, who's usually the ones that seek me out, I call them the apologetic parent because they're, even when in therapy, it's just sorry, sorry. How's it going? I'm sorry, and it's, they live at this defensiveness. They usually come to me. They hire me because they're in a state of feeling frantic, and it's like they're seeking solutions. Like boom, like just tell me what to do, just tell me what to do, and usually if I just do it that way, we'll do this and this, and they look at me like, well, what a stupid idea, even though what they're doing isn't working, and even though they are completely irrational. I often hear apologetic parents use the L word, the logical one, when I've just not found that to be consistent. They're not nearly as logical as they think they are. They usually live in a state of like frantic desperation, where they're just clinging and really struggling, right? And so what I need them to understand is, especially, depending on how old your kids are, your goal is to change the whole system, and you have to really work on yourself. And you got to do it for you, and you got to do it for your kids. It's got to be your motivation. Don't do it because someone like me is trying to compel you, or the court, or whomever. You got to do it because you want relief, because you want to get there. So um, as people start shifting things around, as they start setting boundaries, or as they start doing some things different, the high conflict type, I mean, you can expect that as you start to build a wall, the high conflict type will try to come in like a wrecking ball and knock it down. Okay, I'm going to go back to just regular camera. uh, it's it's very common that when you try to set boundaries, you try to change the culture, they will throw a fit. Um, and partially that is because they're mistrusting of you. They think that you're up to no good. And really, you're just trying to bring some order and boundaries to the situation most of the time, right? But what can you expect? What does this wrecking ball look like? So I have to warn people, and I often have, and I often do, and did so even recently, that when you start setting boundaries, you can expect the chaos to go up. You can expect them to test the fence, and really test the fence, like see what it's made of, and storm. They will hit the fence or the wall that you're trying to build or create like a storm. You can expect that. You should expect that. If you say, hey, I'm not going to compromise on these things anymore, or whatever the case may be, you can expect them to flip. You can expect them to completely flip out on you. And so what can you expect? Well, lots of things. Okay, you can expect them to get very angry. You can expect them to confront you. You can expect them to fire all missiles. Basically meaning all missiles, accusing you, insulting you, threatening you. Often they like to threaten with court. Again, what kills me about the high conflict types is they tend to think that the family court system is their personal mafia or something. They act like it. They talk like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you to court. Then you'll be sorry." Oh yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Like you're in the club. Court, by the way, family court, the judges, attorneys, all those guys. Yeah, it's a club. And don't get me wrong, you're not in it, and neither am I. But neither is your ex, neither is your high conflict ex. But they tend to talk about court as though the court is like my personal mob squad. Don't make me call in the Lenny and Moose, my hired goons, to really. It's almost hilarious. It's it's almost funny. Don't get me wrong; they are capable and somewhat skilled sometimes at manipulating the court, and because judges know nothing about personality disorders. Here we are in another rant about the incompetency of family court, but they will threaten you with court. And if that causes you to feel afraid, man, you got to really learn to check that. They should be more afraid of court than you. That's just a fact of the matter. And there are lots of different ways to respond to that. And I have some of those responses in some of my Udemy courses. All of those links are attached, or they're in the description below. So make sure you go check those out. But you can also expect them to respond to your boundary setting very aggressively sometimes. So here's my advice. CYA, cover your ass. If you're going to do an exchange, like you're going to drop off the kids, A, try to make it at a neutral place, like in front of the police department. B, see if someone will go with you. And C, record them. Now, a lot of people have already gotten there because they went into their divorce assuming that their high conflict ex wanted what they wanted, and that was, peace, love, and understanding for the kids. And that is a falling from grace that I have seen more times than I can count. If you go into it expecting that they want that as well as you do, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But that's why we have cameras on these things, right? So you can video record the exchange. I would just hit the record button as you're pulling up or whatever, and if it's uneventful, then delete it. If it is eventful, send it to the cloud. Make sure that you save it, okay? But you can also expect them, and I've seen this happen more than once. You can expect them to just show up on your front door. Some people live really close to their ex. Some people don't, but you can expect them to get angry and show up on your front door. Now, I worked with a client who made the mistake of, well, I don't know if she let him in or if he just let himself in. I think he let himself in. But if they knock on the door, don't let him in. Don't answer it. If you look out the peephole or whatever and see that it's them, text them. Make sure that you are not talking to them on the phone, because it'll turn into a he said, she said situation. Why are you on my front doorstep? You need to leave, okay? But in one situation, I had someone where her ex, he came right in. I don't know if he just let himself in. I don't know if he kicked the door down, but she said, you need to leave. And she told me that her reasoning is that her goal is she wants to show that he's not afraid of him. But in this situation, absolutely, you have to get out of there. So you get out of my house right now. And he says, no. And she says, I'm calling the police. And he's wrestling the phone away from her. And it's like, no, get out of there. Just get out of the house as fast as you can in situations like that. Don't let them in your home. So you can expect them to do this stuff if you're going to set boundaries. But the important thing is to make sure that you are making ample preparations. Prepare yourself. Be prepared. Get better locks on the doors. Get cameras. Get weapons if you need to. Whatever you got to do. But just expect that. Again, because apologetic parents seek low conflict, they still seem to struggle sometimes to get it into their melons that their ex doesn't want that. They seem to have it in their minds that, well, that's what I want, so that's probably what they want too. Don't assume that their goals are the same as yours. Expect them to throw a fit, but prepare yourself. So thanks for watching this. I might have time today to crank out one more, so make sure you subscribe. Check out my Udemy courses below. I've got more in the works, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and I will announce them accordingly. Take care.